Before that, Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer went head-to-head last night in their first TV debate, and the issue of tax was one of the hot topics, with the Prime Minister reiterating his claim a Labour government would increase taxes by over £2,000 for every household.
The choice at this election is with my clear plan and bold action to keep cutting your taxes to give you financial security, or put all that progress at risk with higher taxes, £2,000 worth of higher taxes under the Labour.
Well, joining us now is GB News' economics and business editor Liam Halligan to make sense of this with On the Money. Liam Halligan, an absolute delight to have you on the show, as ever. It's all kicked off. He's a liar. We're furious, said Emily Thornberry earlier on. Jonathan, they're all going mad about this earlier on. Now, what you tell me, Liam Halligan, £2,000, the figures are coming under some dispute of their repute, their origin. Can you help a simple man like me make sense of this?
I can only try, Martin. I can only work with the raw material that I've got. So let's have a go, shall we? Look, there's still a month to go before polling day on July the 4th, and already the jabbing fingers are being pointed, the political fur is flying. But what is actually happening here? A lot of the voting public, the cheesed off British public, is looking on saying, why are these mad politicians, why are they going bananas? Why are they having rows about economic forecasts built on complex assumptions in 2029 to 2030 that probably won't come true anyway, given, as Harold Macmillan said, events, dear boy, events. What's actually happened here? Let's have a look at a GB News on the money graphic, because it wouldn't be on the money without a graphic, would it? Let's have a look at some of these details of this row. All this stemmed from last night's leaders' debate on ITV, where Sunak and Starmer went head-to-head, and Rishi Sunak was claiming repeatedly, it was like a Tory attack line, Labour will put up your taxes by £2,000 for every household. The Prime Minister kept saying it again and again, like a kind of campaigning machine gun. The Tories said Starmer has pushed back against this, but the Tories have been saying that this £2,000 for every household number, it's backed by Treasury analysis showing that there's a £38.5 billion black hole in Labour spending plans. If you divide that by the number of households in the UK, you get £2,000 in terms of the tax bill, according to the Tories. But a Tory cabinet minister had to concede this morning on the radio that £2,000 wasn't every year, it's over the next 4 years. So it's still a lot of money, but a lot less than was claimed. And then, in a blow for the Tories, the Treasury's permanent secretary, the kind of senior civil servant, the person that oversees Whitehall's most important department, which is the Treasury, he wrote a public letter sort of chiding the Tories, saying, look, there was some basis, some Treasury basis to this number that you've put out, and you're using some Treasury components in terms of the costing of Labour's spending plans, but you've made all kinds of other assumptions, political assumptions, to get to your £2,000 for every household over 4 years tax figure, so don't go around claiming that they are Treasury figures. The Treasury has not been involved in these Tory estimates, says the permanent sec. Look, so this has kind of backfired on the Tories. They're now claiming that it's all straight up, all the numbers are kosher, if you like. But what does this amount to? It's sort of campaigning by spreadsheet. What's happened to political rhetoric? What's happened to leadership? What's happened to charisma? What's happened to telling car parks full of British voters in the rain and at village halls around the country and standing on a soapbox and saying, I have this vision for our country, follow me, I will take you there, it's going to be tough, but these are the choices I'm giving you compared to the other people. Labour and the Tory spending plans, you literally can barely get a cigarette paper between them, and they're arguing about minuscule differences as forecasted 4 and 5 years hence. I'm a trained economist, a highly trained economist, probably the only one who's regularly on television. And let me tell you, forecasting the public finances to, many decimal places 4 or 5 years hence, you might as well get a medicine man to do a rain dance. I mean, this is not science. This is a very grubby art in the in the rather not particularly positive sense of the word art. I don't like to see politicians rowing about inane economic assumptions when they should really, at a time of real concern for the country, and an awful lot of people out there are worried about getting through this cost of living crisis, worried about the economic security of themselves, their children and their grandchildren. Do we really want to see two extremely wealthy men wanging on about economic assumptions, about forecasts 4 and 5 years hence? I'm a trained economist. I should like that sort of thing. I don't like it, and I'm sure a lot of the public doesn't like it either.
Well, Liam Halligan, we've always enjoyed the way you boil it down to bite-sized chunks. But the point is this, that £2,000 figure, it may be of dubious origin, but it's stuck. Everybody's talking about it, Liam.
And this is the ultimate cynicism of modern politics. You put something out there, you know it's going to wind up the opposition, you know the opposition are going to contest it, as Labour have. In my view, on this occasion, I'm not a partisan reporter. On this occasion, I'm still weighing up the evidence, but it seems to me for now, in terms of the battle of the spreadsheets, Labour has got the better of the Tories in terms of credibility, at least on this £2,000 figure. But the Tories know that we're all talking about it. So it's £2,000 tax, £2,000 tax, £2,000 of tax. Who's going to remember in the pub that it's not over a year, it's over 4 years? Who's going to remember that this is based on assumptions by special advisors rather than neutral Treasury economists? This is what happens when you get really, really, really into the weeds. We should be looking into the weeds of what the government has done and the government's response to that, rather than trying to get into the weeds of future forecasts, which, take it from me, are little more than educated guesswork at best. So I want to see lots of positive campaigning. I absolutely abhor the fact that frontbenchers on both the main parties now are now routine in calling the other side liars, liars, pants on fires. What kind of example is that to our kids and to the world? We are one of the world's leading democracies. Westminster is the mother of parliaments. It is lauded around the world, and yet our politics is becoming increasingly over-combative and, in my view, light on detail, big on heat, low on light.
Liam Halligan, masterfully put, as ever, boiled down with succinctness, clarity, digestibility. Always an absolute pleasure. Liam Halligan, always on the money. Thank you very much for being on the show.